ladies and gentlemen. My next guest is John. He's an instructor at the Monroe Institute in Virginia. They're the ones that study consciousness, the expansion of consciousness, where consciousness came from, which we still don't really know fully. But anyways, I've been here understanding myself, understanding different wave patterns in my head through binary beats. So maybe you could tell us a little more about that.
Well, the binaural beats technology was what really got this started with the work that Bob Monroe did back when he first started into his consciousness studies. And he was a sound engineer and had a radio station at one point, and so he was a big sound guy. And when he first started working with trying to understand his out-of-body experiences and putting together some sound technology to help facilitate that, then he figured out this binaural beat thing was a way to help entrain the brain, to help synchronize the hemispheres in the brain, which allows for a deeper state of meditation.
So what happens is you put on these headphones, and they send out signals to your brain. One might be a little bit off by a few hertz from the other one, and apparently the science is that your brain makes up the difference.
Correct.
So it puts you in that brainwave
Exactly.
that you can't really get by yourself, or if you can, they're usually like avid meditators that have been doing this for like 10, 20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've done my homework.
Yeah. Good job on that. It synchronizes both sides of the brains, which puts you into a deeper state of meditation much more quickly.
That's actually really great. One way it's really helped me with like memory recall.
Seriously.
There's like some special way apparently, like where you just where you're taking your breath, or if you picture something and then your memory just comes back to you, like someone's name that you forgot from a few months before that you met.
Yeah.
Or you put something on, you put like your fingers on your forehead, and it's probably like a signal.
Yeah.
Where your memory just comes back. That's something that's really helped me out.
That's a great tool. I mean,
That's,
we've given you many tools this week to use in that kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought just getting the CDs and just doing it on your own, because you could do this on your own too. But when you come here, there's just that group atmosphere, and you learn from other people.
Yeah.
So like certain things that maybe you just see your way, it's not really the right way or not very efficient. So maybe you try someone else's tactics, and it turns to help out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I love about these residential programs is the group discussions that happen after every exercise, after every meditation, and then in our break times as well. There's a lot of learning that goes on.
Yeah, there's
between participants. It's really cool.
Yeah, everyone's sharing stories, and I always ask people like, oh, "How did you end up here? What's the reason?" And then some people say, "I don't know." I asked someone today, but I feel like everyone's just looking for answers to questions.
Yeah.
Of like questions that modern science really hasn't been able to give us.
Yeah, and it's part of that seeking. At least I know in my experience, there's that yearning to learn, that seeking of something beyond ourselves and trying to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which certainly happened in my case too.
Has it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I feel like other institutes, they're kind of like not done by science, but the Monroe Institute has been around since the 50s, right? Or he's been working on it since the 50s?
Yeah, he's been working on it since the late 50s.
So I feel like he's kind of integrated himself into science. So you said the University of Virginia and other universities are kind of like using this hemisync thing to see what's going on in the brain.
Yeah, they've been certainly at the University of Virginia. They've been doing a lot of study into the paranormal and parapsychology work. They've got a whole department on that.
They do?
Yeah, and a couple of their researchers are part of the research that goes on here. So we've got some collaborative programs that go on between Monroe and the university.
That's awesome.
They come out and use participants occasionally for some of their research topics.
And I like the fact that this place isn't like a corporation; it's an organization. Yeah. So their underlining goal is just to help humanity
Exactly.
reach their better selves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was Bob's big thing. He really wanted to help others. I mean, he got into such a service mentality and wanted to bring this into the world, and the way he developed the programs and then started building his own staff back at the time to really help propagate this was a big deal.
And Bob is the founder of this place. His name is actually Robert Monroe, but everyone just calls him Bob for short.
Correct. Yeah.
So apparently he stumbled onto it by having an out-of-body experience. And then he was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And he couldn't really figure out. And back in the 50s, or 60s even, that matter, they didn't really have books on that. In the Western world, maybe in the East, they maybe had an idea of what it was. but no one here did. And he's the one that coined the term out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where you literally leave your body.
Yeah.
And you're aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So your spirit or your consciousness leaves your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He liked to describe it as your consciousness leaving. I mean, I think we know it as our soul or our spirit in other forms. Exactly.
What are some other benefits of just taking the program?
So I always see, one of the big benefits is that, like you said, a lot of people can come in not knowing what they're here for or exactly what they want to accomplish. But no matter what, it seems like everybody leaves having learned something more about their deeper self. We talk about finding and expressing your total self here.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's a big concept by itself, but I always see the participants learning just something more. It might be, in their judgment, a little bit more something about themselves, but a deeper understanding of who they are. And that can help connect them to a more meaningful life in some way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One thing I really learned is to break that fear barrier or the fear of body size, you guys put it. Because I mean, I don't know if I was afraid of ghosts, but I really don't want to interact with them.
Yeah.
I really don't like having the lights off because it's just kind of scary, you know.
Yeah.
Even as a grown up, I don't care. But like today, like I had the lights off and I was like, oh, there might be like a ghost or something. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's just like their lost soul or something like that. You know, like it's not here to harm me.
Yeah.
Or anything of that sort.
Yeah, and in the Monroe speak, we always talk about it as other entities or intelligent species or consciousness, other forms of consciousness.
I never thought about it, but there could be humans that are trying to travel to the there beyond, but are kind of stuck here too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that factor.
Yeah. We've talked about the Lifelines program, which is
Lifelines.
focused on just that, helping those souls, those consciousness that haven't quite made it past.
And there's also a wide variety of people here from like different parts of the country. There's even someone from Syria, someone from Iran. But I'm glad to see that it's growing.
Yes,
I really am. Like just even checking different avenues or trying to understand the metaphysical or parapsychology, as they put it now.
Yeah.
Before, I would think like 50, 60 years ago, especially in the late 50s, none of this stuff was happening.
Right. Yeah, it was all. Bob points out a number of times that probably about 25% of the population has these out-of-body experiences that they're aware of, and yet so many of us haven't talked about it. I mean, I know that was the case in my case for a long time, for several years. I didn't want to say anything about it because I was trying to understand it myself and didn't think anybody would understand it either.
Yeah, but apparently they did, right? They're like, hey, yeah, just go to this institute. They did it all day.
Exactly.
It's like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah. Well, back to your point about having participants here from all over the world. I think that's one of the really cool things about the draw of this institute. I mean, I've had people from Asia, South America, Europe, and then we have programs going on in many of these other countries as well.
Yeah, I see that you guys have the Gateway Voyage in like Europe. You guys have it in England, other places.
Germany, France.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Italy. Yeah.
So people around the world are just seeking answers. It's not just the United States.
Exactly.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, and we've got a big program going on in India as well.
Really?
Yeah, one of our trainers there has taken a lot of the programs into India.
And one thing I really like is it's not just like woo-woo. You guys also, first of all, it's like 70 years or 60 years of science and just trial and error. That brought me here.
Yeah.
And also, you guys work with different universities and different scientists, and you guys slap on fMRIs to people's brains.
Right.
And you be like, this is what happens.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is the evidence.
Yeah, being able to map the brain activity while someone's in meditation and seeing how that changes, correlates, it's really neat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually done it myself. I had people put it on. They're supposed to scan my brain waves. I started messing with it.
Okay.
Just meditating. Like, what's going on? Why are you going to alpha?
Nice, nice, yeah. Well, and for many people, I know for me, getting that kind of feedback, it just really helps to validate the experience and to know that, oh yeah, this is real. It's not something I'm making up.
Yeah, it is. Well, sometimes people are like, just manifest, it'll happen. They're like, but they're like, just do it,
Yeah.
And it just happens. It's happened for me. But then when you put on a scientific machine, or there's other people, or if like a lot of same people, you do A, B, and C, and you get the same results. Like, hey, I could do that.
Right.
These people are no smarter than I am.
Right. Well, and that's how Bob got these programs put together, he had a group of what he called explorers at the beginning,
Yeah.
and he was using these sound frequency signals and getting feedback on, oh yeah, when you did these signals, I had this experience, and he had a whole group that was having the same kind of experience, and that's what let him create a program out
Well,
of it.
here's the beautiful thing: you don't have to be an avid meditator for 10 years, like
Exactly.
an hour or 2 hours a day, which I do.
Yeah.
But I always throw in the
Yeah.
Monroe Institute. I'm like, hey, dude, it's just more ammunition for me.
Yeah.
And better
Yeah.
ammunition, like,
Yeah.
and the gun's getting upgraded too.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've been a meditator for a long time as well, and it helps me get deeper more quickly, and create opportunities for other experiences. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people that come here have not ever meditated it, and
You don't really need to.
yeah,
That's the
exactly.
beautiful part. You
Yeah.
just put on the headphones,
Yeah.
you lay down, and then you're just guided into, into the deepest part of your subconscious. Not the deepest, but like it's going down there. You're
Yeah.
going down your own rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's not working so well laying down because I think I meditate a lot. I become a little too relaxed,
Yeah.
so I'm like clicking out, as
Yeah.
they say. So like it's like I just don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
So, but I sit up, I have a profound experience. So I'm like, just sit up.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it, really.
I mean, and that's important. Whatever is most comfortable for you,
Yeah.
and what works. And you mentioned the click out, and that may not mean you're not getting anything. It's just you're not aware of it yet.
So a click out is when you're meditating and there's just like this gap or this void in your memory, because maybe you're just really, really deep in your subconscious.
Right.
So I know I'm not asleep because when he's like, okay, come out, suddenly I hear that part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everything else I haven't heard in the past 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's a good distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean. He calls it clicking out because you're clicking out of your own consciousness.
Yeah.
But other people just say it's just a gap or like you're zoned out, but you're not zoned out. You're still there.
Yeah, and there's stuff going on. You may be getting some information coming in that your subconscious is taking care of for you. It's not like nothing's happening.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the way I heard about it was like the CIA. The documents on YouTube,
Right.
which did you guys a wonder because like half the
No
people are here
kidding.
because
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
really helped you guys.
Yeah, it got a lot of publicity, a lot of attention. A lot of people showed up
There's
after seeing all
Really,
that. Yeah.
a lot of younger people.
Yeah, there have been a lot of younger people, and
That's good. That's what you guys want, right?
It's-
Like,
of course,
they
yeah.
want those profound experiences,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like maybe they come from like TikTok or there's some influencer, but once they have that mystical experience,
yeah.
or maybe they've been abused as a child, they think of that. They're like, well, whatever happened, happened. I forgive myself.
Yeah.
They're changed forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the healing work that can go on in some of these meditations is really profound. I mean, it's really touching to see someone that's come back from a meditation and has had an encounter or just a realization that's provided some healing.
One thing I noticed about the institute is there's a lot of different avenues you could take this. For me, it's more like I want to increase my memory. I want to increase my creativity, my recall, and like certain answers I just wanted to come to me, which is like I just want to better myself,
Yeah.
make it a little more tactical.
Yeah.
Other people are here because maybe they lost an ancestor. They want to contact them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care for that. Apparently, I'm good at it, but I don't really care for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen several examples of that already this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened today too.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I
yeah.
haven't heard about that one yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's certain synchronicities that happened with that girl from yesterday. We're meeting up in Spain, which is that's gonna be fun.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's totally unplanned for. But so what happened is I have a friend that we keep in contact with, and we always try to meet in different countries, and we can't because a couple times there's actually been a war in the countries we want to go to,
Whoops.
and we're like maybe we should skip it. But then I talked to her yesterday, and I put the plane ticket to Spain about 3 months ago. And she's like, "Oh, I'll be there at the same time. Let's just hang out." She's like, "Oh, it's time I traveled." I was like, "Yeah, that'll work." So
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
I won't be alone. I'll have fun. That's
yeah.
always cool.
Yeah. Well, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
But other people are here because maybe they have like a certain pain or they want to heal somehow. Maybe it's physically, emotionally,
Yeah.
maybe mentally. There's that avenue you
Yeah.
can take.
Yeah.
I feel like we briefly touched on all of these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. There's several of the meditations that we specifically go to each one of those parts of ourselves to do some of that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it to people because a lot of people I talk to, because I preach meditation,
Yeah.
and they're like, I can't meditate. Like, well, you can, you just don't want to,
Yeah.
first of all.
Yeah.
But if you can, you just put on these headphones, you kind of just zone out. You're like calming down a little bit, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Or like even if you just sit on the lazy boy couch, put your feet up, you'll get some improvement.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
more consistent you are, I feel like the more you'll do it.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about that all week. How to be more, how to get better at this is just practice, practice, practice. I
Yeah.
mean, it takes a commitment, and then it doesn't take a lot of time every day. It's not like you got to go meditate for 2 or 3 hours. It's 20 minutes at a time. The new Expand app that they've put together has so many options. I mean, they've got 6-minute meditations. They got
They do.
60-minute meditations.
But I like the gateway. Like that
Yeah.
takes you somewhere deep.
Yeah,
That takes you somewhere deep.
takes you deep, and particularly when you come here and get to experience with others, it's really a powerful program.
Apparently, you build a wand too. That comes in handy.
Yo,
Yeah, it does. It does because
you're talking about the energy bar tool.
the energy bar tool.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right. I think of it as a wand. But
And
yeah.
wand. Well, that's kind of what it looks like our Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, you build that just in case you go somewhere and you feel uncomfortable. You just whip out your energy ball.
Well, you can use it for that too, but like
Yeah.
we talked about today, you can also use it as a beacon to call other
or you can
consciousness
heal
in,
yourself with it.
or heal yourself.
Yeah.
That's a big
But
deal.
that's funny if you, whatever happens. I mean, the theory is like in the holographic world, it happens in the 3D world. So
Yeah.
you're kind of just reshaping your own reality,
Exactly.
which is beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of what the consciousness study is about, and understanding.
And there's evidence of that now.
Yeah.
A lot of evidence.
I know. Yeah, as science opens up more into this part of this territory, it really helps bring the two, spirituality and science, together in a
It
big
does.
way. Yeah.
But it feels like religion's not getting the shorter end of the stick. Which I mean, I'm not necessarily, I'm not religious, but
Yeah.
some people, they might have a really hard time grasping that concept. Like, what do you mean I'm my own God? Well, yeah.
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 Right.
You have
right.
the power of God within you. I'll go that far.
That's a better way to.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great way to say it.
Yeah, you have the power of God within you.
Yeah.
And it's not like I like the fact that spirituality, the difference from that and science is really you have the power to change the world around you and yourself.
Yes.
You don't need to look for something outside of you. Well, it's outside of you and within you at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, that to me, that's a really critical concept. That if I can change within myself, then my whole world changes.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
And I do a lot of like motivational videos where I just read up on them or watch them or
Right.
books. They're like it's really just your reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like these meditations are like they guide you from different steps, but there's also shortcuts, and we're talking about that today. Where really you could just go from A to Z.
Yeah.
Usually that takes like 20 minutes of meditation, calming down.
Right.
But really, if you get really good at it, it's just your thought process.
Yeah.
Because you already build those
Exactly.
neural links.
Exactly. Yeah. And the more you practice it, like we were saying earlier, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
there's this thing where you go from like 15 to 21, and there's colors, and it's complicated. Really, I just think of an elevator. I go in. I'm on 15th floor. I just press 21.
Yep.
Goes dut, 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 and I'm in 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, I don't have to go through the long way, which takes extra 5 minutes.
Right. And that's part of what being able to kind of get immersed in that this week, and you get used to what it's like in each one of those levels, and then you know it, and you can just go there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And it goes up to like focus 49, I believe.
49 is.
What is 49 like? What is that?
Yeah, I'm working on getting there.
Is that like just beyond this world? Like, is that like time, space?
Oh yeah, it's beyond time, space. It's yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I would say like even 12 is or 15 is beyond time.
15 is beyond time, and then we move into beyond 21 is where we get into all the non-physical
Yeah, non-physical
aspects.
stuff.
Yeah.
But it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
But even like religion talks about it, and I think Bob Monroe said it. He's like praying, like maybe like 5,000 years ago it was accurate, or 2,000 years ago you're clapping your hands, doing certain things, but like people started changing it up as
Yeah.
years went on, and it just kind of like diluted the process.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I hear that story, to me it's like we've known how to get in touch with that deeper part of ourselves, and we've added rules over time through religion that kind of separated us, and this is this work can help find what you said earlier,
Yeah.
that divine part within us.
And the reason I like the Monroe, first of all, it's super powerful, super powerful. And you don't need to be a meditator. You don't need to be spiritual
Right.
or religious. Really, you just need to show up,
Right.
do the work,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
then the work you just put on the headphones, and he'll tell you what to do.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing Bob was very clear about. I don't want any dogma attached to the work that we do here.
Yeah,
So it's not. You can believe whatever you want and come here and get great
Right.
experience.
Right. That's
Yeah.
why he coined the term out of body experience, because really you're just
Right.
going out of your body,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not astral projection,
Mm-hmm.
it's not etheric or anything like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't say chakras or
Mm-hmm.
any of that stuff. Really, you're lifting your energy too.
Exactly. Yeah. And we get into all of that. He just wanted a different terminology to keep it neutral, so that it wasn't attached to any particular kind of, belief system out there.
And one thing about you and Peggy, the other trainer,
Mm-hmm.
the way you guys did the training was you guys weren't like, you were there to hold space,
Mm-hmm.
which was very good, because every time someone had a question or they did something, you kind of shut off your own ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Maybe you should dive deep into that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't tell them, oh, it's because of this, this, and this.
Yeah.
You want them to find the truth for
Yeah.
themselves.
I mean, the beauty in letting someone find their own experience and begin to understand it. I mean, we can all, give them ideas and try to interpret it for them, but the letting an individual find their own answer creates a really meaningful answer.
Right. And a side note, you might not find the answer right as you're at the retreat,
Exactly.
but maybe you might walk out to the airport and just slaps you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
that's
Right.
happened before in different ways to me.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
remember to get on the airplane because you're in a different space from here.
Yeah, yeah. I feel good though. Like, I'm not in a different space. Like, some people are like in La La Land right now,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I've done these before.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just more fun and a little more powerful,
Uh-huh.
because they're a little different than the ones on the CDs.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
like them. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And I've went to some places that really I was like, hell no, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Like, really like talking to things beyond this world.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, and that's one thing when you come here, there's so many like-minded people. It's easy to have deeper conversations around that.
it is.
Yeah.
Like, me and Mark have really hit it off.
Yeah.
And you can talk about like conspiracies and stuff, and no one's gonna be like, you're weird.
Yeah, no, I heard you guys doing that while I was trying to go to sleep the other night.
Really? Oh,
You were
man,
having
we're
a fun
sorry.
time. It was
We
great.
were. We're gonna have more fun tonight. It's last night.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as like people that have trauma or really need to heal,
Hmm.
you recommend this program to them?
Well, there is healing that can go on. There is understanding that they can gain, around traumatic events in their lives.
There's the Focus 18, where it's like opening the heart. I feel like
Mhm.
that could
Opening
really
the
help.
heart. Yeah.
I feel like the Gateway Voyage or the Gateway process is like the fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's the fundamentals, and then like it could really branch off into like 10 different ways if
Right.
you wanted to.
And that's why we call it the gateway, because it's kind of the the gate you go through to then start some of these other explorations, and
Oh.
it gives you a great foundation, a basic understanding, and you dive deeper in some of the other workshops.
I was thinking of Gateway like as in a portal, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a different gateway. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Right.
And
No,
it
no, I
gives-
like your gateway too. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a nice thing.
and it gives you a lot of tools that you would need, especially
Right.
and what you guys did really well is really for me. What you guys did best is just peel off the fear layers.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because
and
I had
that-
some fear of really like I just don't want to talk to like certain things, like
Right,
I'm not
right,
care anything about
right.
that. But like I found out that like really I can do it,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I'm not bad at it. And the
that-
people that really want to do it can't. But like
Mhm.
I don't know how that works. But
Yeah.
um,
that's great to hear, because being able to move through that fear is I mean, that's a big sense of freedom on the other
Yeah,
side of
it
that.
is.
And
It is.
now it becomes limitless. I
it
mean,
is. I was gonna say sky's the limit, but there's no sky really.
right.
We brought that too.
Yeah. Go beyond the sky.
Yeah. But yeah, especially today when like it was dark, I was like, dude, I'm gonna turn on the lights. I'm kind of like a little afraid of dark. I used to have nightmares as a kid,
Oh.
but
okay.
I'm like today I was like, wait a minute, like what am I afraid of? Like if these things are here, probably not. Like
So that's been some healing for you this week, or some
Yeah,
understanding for you?
understanding and peeling off the fear layers.
Sweet.
So
That's great to
I'm
hear.
not like terrified of the dark, but like I'd rather not be in the dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Baby steps. Yeah. Or just jump into it like
or,
we did.
or put the dimmer switch on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
do that
just
too.
slowly turn it down.
I didn't want to bother Armin, my roommate.
Okay, that was sweet of you.
Yeah. But do you have any advice for people that are watching this podcast and are thinking about doing it?
Well, give yourself the opportunity. I mean, if you're even thinking about it, this experience can be anything that you want it to be. I mean, yes, we've got a very structured program, and you get to kind of pace yourself, and so even if you're slightly curious, to come here and just have a chance to get with like-minded people and just have an opportunity to explore for yourself. I mean, I think there needs to be a willingness to look at myself as a part of this work,
Right.
but it's a easy and I'll say gentle way to
It is.
do that.
It is. And you guys have it structured really well.
Yeah.
Think about it, this has been going on for like 50 years.
Oh yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like just trust the process.
Uh-huh.
And really it's people's personal experiences.
Mhm.
I feel like everyone I talk to, they have had, I mean, it's kind of similar, but it's also kind of different.
Right. Yeah, we've got a program that's structured, and everybody's having their own individual experience, and that's what the beauty of this is.
Right.
Yeah.
Jason's is way off.
Yeah.
But his is pretty cool too. Jay, I love that guy. His experience is like out left field, man.
Well, that's true.
In a different ballpark.
Right. But it's his own ballpark, and
Yeah,
he's
it is.
having a great time
He
in
is.
it.
He is. Super sweet guy too. I was like,
Yeah.
hey Jason, can I ride with you to Florida? He's like, sure, mate, just jump on the car. I was like, dude, I got a plate to catch. But like, he's just that type of guy. He'll take
Yeah.
off for sure and give it to
Right.
you.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just some people have a completely different experience. But like, there's 24 of us, and 23, I would pretty safe to say is having very similar experiences.
Yeah.
Maybe a little off, maybe different colors,
Mhm.
but it's the same channel.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of learning about the different levels of consciousness at the same time, and that creates some similarities in the experiences for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say come here if you can. If you can't, you can always buy the tapes and do it at home.
Mhm.
That's also an option.
Yep.
They're a little more detailed in the tapes, but you don't have that instructor to
Right.
kind of like hold space and
Yeah.
like, hey man, I saw this. What does that mean?
Mhm.
And then you'll kind of like give me some advice, but you won't tell me what it means.
Yeah, and there's some other online programs available that some have instructors, some you can do it on your own.
Oh, you mean like a semi-instructor program? Like
Yeah.
maybe you listen to like 5-6 tapes,
Mhm.
and then there's like
and then you can have a conversation with an instructor.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Because not everyone could really fly here.
Right, I know. And that's another thing that, the app has made possible. You get to you can have some of these exercises. I mean, we have a lot of the focus level exercises on
Really?
the map now. Yeah, those have just been added.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I always leave this on the last note.
Mhm.
Do you have any advice for people that are in trouble or they're in pain? Like, I don't know, any advice?
Well,
Come to the gateway.
well, find somebody to talk to first.
Yeah.
So that you got some support, and let us know what kind of support you need when you get here if you decide to come, because we really want to make everybody's experience something that's meaningful for them.
And you guys are super genuine.
If-
Very genuine.
yes, yes.
You and Patty.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it couldn't be otherwise.
Right.
We can't do this work without that.
Right. And by the way, it's not a corporation, it's an organization. Let me just repeat that again.
Yes.
So they're not out for your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a not-for-profit. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a not-for-profit, which is beautiful. And
Yeah.
their goal is to explore consciousness.
Yes. Yeah.
So your advice, you said, was just to seek support from others.
Seek support, and be sure you got your support, and then let us know what kind of support you need when you get here, and what you're trying to accomplish. 'Cause-
Yeah. And John's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. The
All right,
Gateway,
man.
it's at the Monroe Institute in Virginia. It's called the Gateway Process or Gateway Voyage or Experience.
Gateway Voyage.
Gateway Voyage is
Yeah.
the one you're here. It's a little different, but it's Gateway. Just look for that word.
Yeah.
Go ahead and subscribe to this episode, and we'll definitely catch you next time.
All right.